4. Painful truths about why spiritually strong people are always rejected. There is a quiet kind of strength in this world. It walks alone, speaks little, observes more than it participates, and though it carries storms within, it shows up as calm. We are speaking of the spiritually strong, those who have died many small deaths and come back wiser, not weaker, those who carry pain with dignity, those who are rejected not because they are lacking, but because they reflect something others are not ready to see. And here are the 4 brutal truths about why that rejection follows them. 1. You are rejected because you reveal the masks of others. When you walk into a room with presence without needing to prove it, those who rely on external noise to validate their worth will feel disturbed. Not because you attacked them, but because you didn't join their performance. Epictetus once said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." Spiritually strong people do not react. They respond. They do not chase acceptance, because they have learned to befriend solitude. And in doing so, they become a mirror to those who are still hiding from themselves. You will be misunderstood. You will be labeled as arrogant, cold, detached, when in truth, you are simply not begging to be seen. To the unawakened, your silence is threatening. Your presence feels like pressure, and so they will reject you, not because of who you are, but because of who they are not yet. 2. You are rejected because you cannot be used. We live in a world addicted to transaction. Every smile, every connection, every compliment. Too often, it's currency, not care. But the spiritually strong, they do not sell their soul for applause. They do not lower their truth to be liked. They do not pretend to need what they do not. As Seneca wrote, the greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. Spiritually strong people are not waiting for the world to reward them. They live now, they suffer now, they grow now. And that independence, that inner fullness, makes them useless to those who need dependency to feel powerful. You cannot manipulate someone who has mastered his desires. You cannot control someone who finds peace in letting go. And so, they are left, ignored, excluded, but they do not collapse. They continue walking, not with bitterness, but with stillness, because rejection is not their enemy, it is their confirmation. 3. You are rejected because you do not feed emotional chaos. Most people survive on emotional drama. They find identity in their wounds and connection through shared bitterness. But when you've walked through fire and emerged calm, when you've learned to observe pain without being owned by it, you become dangerous. You refuse to escalate arguments. You do not match their rage with rage. You do not play the victim. And this, to the emotionally chaotic, feels like abandonment. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. You don't need revenge. You don't need validation. You need peace." But peace threatens people who haven't made peace with themselves. So instead of drawing closer, they push you away, because you don't give them what they secretly crave, another excuse to stay broken. You heal, and in doing so, you break the cycle. But they only know how to live in circles. 4. You are rejected because your presence demands others confront themselves. To walk in discipline, stillness, and self-control is to become a mirror, one that reflects not just who others are, but who they pretend to be. Most people run from silence because in silence, their inner chaos becomes audible. When you speak few words, they become uncomfortable with their own noise. When you stand calmly in the storm, they're forced to notice how easily they're shaken. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Your presence reminds them of how much time they've wasted. Your refusal to chase, to beg, to react, exposes how addicted they are to attention, control, and validation. And rather than grow with you, they'd rather leave you. Because becoming better requires effort, and being near you means there's no longer a place to hide. So you walk alone, not because you are unlovable, but because your spirit demands truth. And most people aren't ready for truth. If this resonated with you, subscribe to the Stoic Verse for more wisdom to guide your journey.